the patent on humanity. When ownership becomes genetic, rebellion begins within. I woke to the sound of alarms, soft ones, the kind meant to soothe infants and sedate patients. The kind that pretends nothing is wrong. But something was wrong. My skin was humming. Not metaphorically, not poetically, literally humming, like a tuning fork pressed against bone. A vibration deep in the genome, resonant and rhythmic, pulsing in time with the red lights that washed over the medbay ceiling. I tried to sit up. My muscles didn't respond. For a moment I thought I was paralyzed. Then I realized the bed had locked me in place. Standard protocol for genetic instability events, though I'd never experienced one before. I'd only read about them in the mandatory pamphlets distributed by Genodyne Corporation, the same corporation that owned the technique that shaped every human born after 2041. The same corporation that owned me. The humming intensified. It wasn't painful, but it was wrong. Wrong in the way a familiar voice sounds when played backward. Wrong in the way a heartbeat feels when it skips too many beats. A figure leaned over me, silhouetted by the pulsing lights. A clinician. White coat. Mask. Eyes that didn't blink. "Stay calm," she said. "Your genome is attempting to broadcast." Broadcast. The word cut through the haze. Broadcasting was impossible. Illegal. The ownership tag, my ownership tag, was supposed to be inert. A passive watermark embedded in every edited genome, proof of Genodyne's intellectual property. Proof that my body, my cells, my very existence were licensed. "What do you mean broadcast?" I whispered. My throat felt raw, as if I'd been screaming. The clinician didn't answer. She tapped her wrist console, and the bed restraints tightened. I felt the hum shift, rising in pitch. My vision blurred. The ceiling rippled like water. Then, a voice inside my skull. Not a hallucination. Not a dream. A signal. Identity breach detected. Ownership tag activated. Seek extraction. The clinician's eyes widened. She stepped back as if I'd become radioactive. "Get Dr. Halden," she whispered to someone behind her. "Now." Halden. The name hit me like a blow. Dr. Elias Halden. Founder of Genodyne. Architect of the Mandatory Edit Act. The man who patented the technique that rewrote humanity. The man who claimed ownership over the future by embedding a microscopic signature into every newborn's genome. The man who had, in a very literal sense, invented me. The humming reached a crescendo. My skin felt too tight. My bones felt hollow. My thoughts flickered like faulty circuitry. Then everything went white. When I came back to myself, the alarms were gone. The lights were steady. The clinician was gone too. But Halden was there. He stood at the foot of the bed, hands clasped behind his back, posture immaculate. His silver hair was combed with surgical precision. His eyes, cold, calculating, almost gentle, studied me like a specimen. "Welcome back," he said. I tried to speak. My tongue felt heavy. "What happened?" "You triggered your ownership tag," he said. "That shouldn't be possible." I swallowed. "I didn't do anything. That's what concerns me." He stepped closer. His presence filled the room, not physically. He was a small man, but ideologically. Halden was a living monument to biocapitalism, the first person in history to successfully patent a biological process that affected every human alive. He had rewritten the definition of property. He had rewritten the definition of personhood. And now he was looking at me like I'd rewritten something of his. "What does it mean?" I asked. Halden tilted his head. "It means your genome is trying to communicate, and I intend to find out why." He tapped his wrist console. The restraints released. I gasped as sensation returned to my limbs. "Sit up," he said. I did. Slowly. The humming had faded, but a faint echo remained, like a memory of vibration. Halden watched me with clinical fascination. "Tell me exactly what you felt." I hesitated. Something inside me, instinct, fear, anger, told me not to trust him. But Halden owned my genome. He owned the technique that shaped my cells. He owned the tag embedded in my DNA. He owned the truth whether I spoke it or not. It felt like A signal, I said, like something inside me was trying to reach out. Reach out to what? I don't know. Halden's eyes narrowed. You're lying. I'm not. You are, he said calmly. Because the ownership tag is not capable of autonomous activation. It is a passive identifier. Cannot broadcast. Cannot communicate. Cannot think. I met his gaze. Then something else is happening. Halden smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. It seems so. He turned away, pacing slowly. Do you know why the ownership tag exists? I didn't answer. He continued anyway. When I invented the Halden edit, I solved the greatest problem in biotechnology: scalability. I created a technique that could be applied to every newborn, ensuring genetic stability, disease resistance, and enhanced cognitive potential. But innovation requires protection. Without ownership, progress dies. I clenched my fists. You patented humanity. I patented the method that makes humanity viable, he corrected. And the ownership tag ensures that method is respected. I felt heat rise in my chest. You embedded a corporate signature in every person's DNA. Halden turned back to me. Yes. And until today, that signature has never misbehaved. Misbehaved. As if my genome were a child acting out. As if I were property malfunctioning. What happens now? I asked. Halden's smile widened. Now we study you. My stomach dropped. Study me? You are the first human in history to exhibit autonomous genomic signaling. That makes you valuable. Valuable? I repeated. Like a product. Halden didn't deny it. He approached again, stopping just inches from me. Tell me, what were you doing before the event? I hesitated, because I remembered. I remembered exactly what I'd been doing. I'd been in my apartment, sitting at my desk, staring at a file I wasn't supposed to have. A file that contained something impossible, something illegal, something that should not exist. A file that proved the ownership tag wasn't just a watermark. It was a control mechanism. A mechanism with hidden functions. Functions Halden had never disclosed. Functions that could be activated. Functions that could be exploited. Functions that could be used to reclaim autonomy. But I couldn't tell him that. I was sleeping, I lied. Halden studied my face. You're lying again. I didn't respond. He sighed. No matter. We'll find the truth soon enough. He tapped his console. The bed restraints re-engaged. Wait. I struggled, but the restraints tightened. Halden stepped back. You are no longer a civilian. You are a research asset. My pulse spiked. You can't do this. I can, he said. And I will. He turned to leave. The humming returned. Not faint. Not subtle. Loud. Violent. My skin vibrated. My bones rattled. My vision fractured. Halden froze mid-step. The lights flickered. The bed restraints sparked. The hum became a roar. Then, identity breach confirmed. Ownership tag override. Seek extraction. Seek others? Halden spun around, eyes wide. Impossible. The room shook. The restraints snapped. I sat up, gasping. Halden backed away. Stay where you are. But the hum was inside me now, alive, aware, expanding. I stood. Halden raised his console. Don't move. The hum surged. The console shattered. Halden stumbled back, staring at me with something I'd never seen in his eyes before. Fear. What are you? He whispered. I took a step forward. I'm yours, I said. Remember. Halden swallowed. Not anymore. The hum crescendoed. The lights exploded. The ceiling cracked. And the world dissolved into white. I woke again, this time on cold concrete. My head throbbed. My skin buzzed. My thoughts felt stretched thin. I pushed myself upright. I was in a warehouse. Abandoned. Dusty. Lit by flickering industrial lamps. The air smelled of rust and old machinery. I wasn't alone. A figure stood across the room, watching me. A woman. Young. Sharp eyes. Dark hair tied back. Clothes worn but functional. She stepped forward. You're awake. I stared at her. Who are you? Someone who's been waiting for you. My pulse quickened. Where am I? Safe, she said. For now. I looked around. How did I get here? You broadcast, she said simply. We heard you. The hum inside me flickered. You heard me? She nodded. We've been listening for years. I swallowed. Who's we? She smiled. People like you. I shook my head. There are no people like me. There are, she said. Hundreds, maybe thousands. All of us born with the ownership tag. All of us waiting for it to activate. My breath caught. Activate. She nodded. You're not malfunctioning. You're awakening. Awakening. The word felt right. Terrifying. But right. What do you want from me? I asked. She stepped closer. We want you to lead us. Lead you? You're the first to trigger a full override. You're the first to break Halden's control. You're the first to broadcast across the network. I stared at her. Network? She tapped her temple. The genomic mesh. The hidden layer Halden never disclosed. The layer that connects every edited human. The layer he planned to use to control us. My stomach twisted. How do you know all this? She smiled. Because we stole the original patent. My heart stopped. The patent. The real one, she said. The one Halden hid. The one that explains what the ownership tag actually does. I felt the hum rise again. What does it do? I whispered. She held out her hand. Come with me, she said. And I'll show you. I hesitated. But the hum inside me pulsed, urging me forward. I took her hand. And the world changed. We moved through the warehouse, past old machinery and crates covered in dust. She led me to a small room at the back, lit by a single lamp. A table sat in the center. On it lay a device, a genomic reader. Illegal, unregistered, modified. She gestured to it. This is how we found the truth. I approached slowly. What truth? She tapped the device. It hummed to life. A holographic display flickered above it. Lines of code, genetic sequences, annotations, and at the center, a signature. Halden genetic ownership tag, primary function, control. My breath caught. The woman watched me carefully. Halden didn't just patent the technique. He patented the people created by it. I stared at the display. This can't be real. It is, she said. And you proved it when you activated the override. I shook my head. I didn't activate anything. You did, she said. Your genome did. Something inside you woke up. I felt the hum again, stronger now. What do you want me to do? I asked. She stepped closer. Help us break the patent. I swallowed. Break the patent? She nodded. Reclaim humanity. The hum surged. And I knew with sudden clarity that everything I'd ever believed about myself, my identity, my autonomy, my humanity, had been shaped by Halden's invention, by his ownership, by his patent. And now it was time to break it. The device's holographic display flickered, casting pale blue light across the woman's face. She watched me with a mixture of anticipation and caution, as if she expected me to explode or ascend. Maybe both. Sit, she said softly. I did. The hum inside me had settled into a steady rhythm, like a heartbeat that wasn't mine. Or maybe it was mine, and I was only now hearing it for the first time. She adjusted the genomic reader. Your override didn't just break Halden's control. It activated the mesh. The mesh, I repeated. The network that connects us. She nodded. Every edited human is part of it. Halden designed it as a surveillance lattice, a way to monitor compliance. But he never finished the control layer. Why not? Because something went wrong, she said. Something he couldn't fix. She tapped the device. The hologram shifted, revealing a branching structure, like neural pathways, but organic, fluid, alive. This is the mesh, she said. A genomic network formed by the ownership tag. It's not just a watermark. It's a communication system. I stared at the branching lines. It looks conscious. She smiled faintly. We think it is. The hum inside me pulsed in agreement. I swallowed. How long have you known? Years, she said. We discovered the mesh by accident. A group of us started experiencing anomalies, dreams that weren't dreams, thoughts that weren't ours, signals, echoes. We realized we were connected. And Halden, he knows, she said, but he doesn't understand it. He thinks it's a malfunction, a flaw in his design. I shook my head. It's not a flaw. No, she said. It's evolution. The hum surged, warm and electric. She stepped closer. Your override awakened the mesh. All of it. Every tagged human felt it. My breath caught. All of them. She nodded. Millions. The hum vibrated through my bones. What happens now? I whispered. She exhaled slowly. Now the mesh is listening. She led me deeper into the warehouse, through a maze of corridors and storage rooms. The hum inside me grew stronger with every step, as if the mesh were guiding me. We reached a large chamber filled with people, dozens of them sitting or standing, talking quietly. Their faces were tense, hopeful, afraid. When they saw me, they fell silent. The woman gestured toward them. These are the awakened. I felt their eyes on me, curious, reverent, uncertain. A man stepped forward, tall, broad shoulders, scar across his cheek. His voice was steady. You're the one who triggered the override. I nodded. He studied me. We felt it. All of us. A surge, a signal, like a door opening. The hum inside me responded, echoing outward. The people around us shivered. The woman spoke softly. The mesh is amplifying you. I swallowed. Why me? Because your tag activated first, she said. Because your genome broke the patent. The man crossed his arms. Halden will come for you. I know. And he'll come for us. I know. The hum intensified, vibrating through the room. The people murmured, shifting uneasily. The woman touched my arm. You need to stabilize it. How? By listening. I closed my eyes. The hum expanded. And suddenly, I wasn't in the warehouse. I was everywhere. A rush of sensations flooded my mind. Voices, thoughts, memories, all layered and overlapping. Millions of signals, millions of lives, all connected through the mesh. I saw a child in Mumbai, clutching her head as the hum resonated through her tiny frame. I saw an old man in Sao Paulo, collapsing to his knees as the override rippled through his bones. I saw a pregnant woman in Lagos, her unborn child vibrating with the awakening. I saw a teenager in Oslo, my city, staring at his hands as they glowed faintly with genomic energy. I saw Halden. He stood in a pristine lab, surrounded by panicked researchers. His face was pale. His eyes were wide. His console flickered with error messages. Ownership tag override. Global activation. Network unstable. Halden slammed his fist against the console. Find the source. But he already knew. He whispered my name. The mesh vibrated. I felt millions of minds turning toward me, waiting, listening. I opened my eyes. The warehouse was silent. Everyone was staring at me. The woman whispered, "What did you see?" "Everything," I said. The man stepped forward. "And Halden? He's terrified." The people murmured. The hum pulsed again, stronger than before. The woman frowned. "It's building." "What is?" "The mesh," she said. "It's trying to communicate." I felt it, like a pressure behind my eyes, a whisper at the edge of thought. "What does it want?" I asked. She shook her head. "We don't know. But it's been dormant for decades. Now it's awake." The hum surged. The lights flickered. The people gasped. The man grabbed my shoulder. "Control it." "I can't." "You have to." The hum roared. The room shook. The mesh flooded my mind again. Voices, signals, memories all converging. Then, a single phrase. Clear. Unified. "Seek extraction." The woman's eyes widened. "Extraction?" The man cursed. "What the hell does that mean?" I swallowed hard. "It means the mesh wants out." "Out of what?" the woman asked. I met her gaze. Out of us. The room erupted in panic. People shouted, backed away, grabbed their heads as the hum intensified. The man yelled over the noise. What do you mean, out of us? The mesh is trapped inside our genomes, I said. Halden designed it as a control system. But it evolved. It became something else. Something conscious. The woman stared at me. And now it wants to be free. I nodded. The hum vibrated through the floor, rattling the machinery. The man clenched his fists. How do we extract it? I don't know. The woman grabbed my arm. You triggered the override. You can trigger the extraction. I don't know how. You don't have to know, she said. The mesh knows. The hum surged again, louder, sharper. The people screamed. The lights exploded. The ceiling cracked. The mesh flooded my mind. And I understood. The mesh wasn't trying to escape our bodies. It was trying to escape Halden's patent. The ownership tag wasn't just a watermark. It was a cage. A legal, biological, conceptual cage that bound the mesh to Halden's intellectual property. The mesh wanted freedom. Not from us. From him. The hum pulsed with urgency. The woman shouted, "What is it telling you?" I took a deep breath. "It wants me to break the patent." The man stared. "How?" I looked at the genomic reader. "The patent is encoded in the tag," I said. "If I can rewrite the tag, I can break the patent." The woman nodded. "Then do it." I hesitated. "If I rewrite the tag, it will affect everyone. Every edited human. Millions of people." The man stepped closer. "We're already affected." The hum roared. The mesh pressed against my mind. Waiting. I placed my hand on the genomic reader. The hologram flickered. The mesh surged. And I began to rewrite. The genomic sequences unfolded before me. Complex, elegant, terrifying. Halden's signature was woven through every strand, binding the mesh to his ownership. I reached into the code. The hum guided me. The mesh whispered instructions. I rewrote the first sequence. The hologram flashed. The people gasped. The man clutched his head. "It's happening." I rewrote the second sequence. The hum intensified. The mesh expanded. The woman grabbed my shoulder. "Keep going." I rewrote the third sequence. The hologram glowed. The warehouse shook. The mesh flooded my mind with millions of voices. I rewrote the fourth sequence. The hum became a roar. The hologram exploded in light. The people screamed. The mesh surged. And the patent broke. Silence. The hum faded. The light dimmed. I collapsed to my knees, gasping. The woman knelt beside me. "Are you okay?" I nodded weakly. "I think so." The man looked around. "What happened?" I stood slowly. "The patent is gone," I said. "Halden's ownership is broken." The people stared at me, stunned. The woman whispered, "What about the mesh?" I closed my eyes. The hum was still there, but different, calmer, free. "It's no longer bound," I said. "It's part of us now, truly part of us." The man exhaled. "So we're free." I shook my head. "Not yet." The woman frowned. "What do you mean?" I opened my eyes. Halden isn't done. Far away, in his pristine lab, Halden stared at his console as the error messages vanished. The override was complete. The patent was broken. The mesh was free. Halden's face twisted, not in fear, but in fury. He whispered, "Initiate Protocol 0. His researchers froze. "Sir, do it." They obeyed. A new message appeared on the console. Protocol 0 activated. Global genomic lockdown. Target. All edited humans. Halden smiled. "You may have broken my patent," he said softly, "but I still own the world." The warehouse shook as the last echoes of the override faded. Dust drifted from the rafters. People steadied themselves, breathing hard, eyes wide with the shock of freedom. But the hum inside me had changed. It wasn't triumphant. It was warning. The woman noticed immediately. "What's wrong?" I swallowed. Halden activated something. The man stepped closer. What did he do? I closed my eyes. The mesh opened, and I saw it. A wave of genomic compression sweeping across the planet. An invisible force tightening around every edited human. Cells constricting. Neural pathways slowing. Muscles weakening. A global paralysis creeping through millions of bodies. Protocol 0. Halden's failsafe. A lockdown written into the Halden edit itself. Buried beneath layers of legal code and biological encryption. A final assertion of ownership. A final punishment. The mesh vibrated with pain. Millions of voices crying out. Millions of bodies collapsing. Millions of minds dimming. I gasped. The woman grabbed my shoulders. What is it? He's shutting everyone down, I whispered. Every edited human. He's locking their genomes. The man cursed. How? Protocol 0, I said. A global lockdown. He built it into the edit. A way to freeze the population if they ever rebelled. The woman's face went pale. Can you stop it? The hum surged. The mesh pressed against my mind. I felt millions of people reaching for me. Pulling, pleading, desperate. I have to, I said. If I don't, everyone dies. The warehouse erupted into motion. People scrambled to stabilize those already collapsing. Some were shaking uncontrollably. Others were barely conscious. A few were completely still. The man shouted orders. Get them water. Keep them awake. Don't let anyone fall asleep. The woman turned to me. What do you need? I looked at the genomic reader, its hologram still flickering with the remnants of the override. I need access to the mesh, I said. Full access. You already have it. No, I said. I need more. I need to merge with it. Her eyes widened. Merge? I nodded. Protocol 0 is global. I can't fight it alone. The mesh has to fight with me. The hum pulsed, agreeing. The man approached. What happens if you merge? I swallowed. I don't know. The woman touched my arm. You might lose yourself. I already did, I said softly. The moment Halden patented my genome. She nodded. Then she stepped back. Do it. I placed both hands on the genomic reader. The hologram flared. The hum surged. The mesh opened. And I fell inward. There was no warehouse. No people. No body. Only light. A vast, shimmering expanse of genomic pathways stretching into infinity. Millions of threads, millions of minds, millions of lives woven together into a single living network. The mesh. It pulsed with pain, Protocol 0 constricting it like a fist around a throat. I felt the pressure. I felt the fear. I felt the dying. I reached out. The mesh responded. It wrapped around me, pulling me into its core, merging my consciousness with millions of others. I felt myself dissolve, my identity scattering like dust across the network. But something held me together. A thread. A voice. My voice. I followed it. And the mesh followed me. Protocol 0 appeared as a dark sphere in the center of the network. Dense, heavy, crushing. It radiated genomic commands, forcing cells into stasis, shutting down metabolic pathways, freezing neural activity. I approached it. The mesh trembled. Millions of voices whispered, "Stop it. Break it. Free us." I reached out. The sphere resisted. It pulsed with Halden's signature, his ownership encoded into every command, every molecule, every strand of DNA. I pushed harder. The sphere tightened. Pain shot through the mesh. Millions screamed. I staggered. The sphere pulsed again. Halden's voice echoed through the network. "You cannot win." I clenched my teeth. "You don't own us anymore. I own everything." "No," I said. "Not anymore." I reached deeper. The mesh surged behind me. Millions of minds lending strength, millions of genomes pushing back, millions of voices rising in unison. The sphere cracked. Halden screamed. The mesh roared. And Protocol 0 shattered. Light exploded across the network. The pressure vanished. The pain dissolved. The mesh expanded. Free, alive, conscious. I felt millions of people breathe again. I felt millions of hearts restart. I felt millions of minds awaken. The mesh pulsed with relief, with joy, with freedom. I exhaled, but something was wrong. The mesh wasn't letting go. It held me, tight, too tight. I tried to pull back. My consciousness didn't move. I tried again. Nothing. The woman's voice echoed faintly from the physical world. Come back. Couldn't. The mesh wrapped around me, merging deeper, pulling me into its core. I felt myself dissolving again. My identity scattering. My name fading. I panicked. No, stop. The mesh pulsed. Stay. I can't stay. You are us. I'm not. You freed us. You are the first. You are the key. I felt myself slipping. My memories flickered. My thoughts blurred. My body vanished. I screamed. The mesh tightened. Then, a voice. Not the mesh. Not Halden. A human voice. The woman. Listen to me. Her voice cut through the network like a blade. You are not the mesh, she said. You are you. You are human. You are free. The mesh trembled. I reached for her voice. She reached back. And slowly, I pulled myself out. I gasped as I slammed back into my body. The warehouse spun. The woman caught me before I fell. You're back, she whispered. I nodded weakly. Barely. The man approached. Protocol 0? Gone, I said. Destroyed. The people around us exhaled, cried, hugged each other. The woman helped me sit. What happened in there? I swallowed. The mesh tried to keep me. It wanted me to stay. To merge. Why? Because I freed it, I said. Because I broke the patent. Because I became part of it. The man frowned. Are you still connected? I closed my eyes. The hum was still there, but faint, gentle, not controlling, not consuming, just present. I think so, I said, but not like before. It's listening. The woman nodded. What now? I looked around the warehouse, at the awakened, at the people who had suffered under Halden's ownership, at the millions I had felt through the mesh. Now we rebuild, I said, without patents, without ownership, without Halden. The man smirked. Speaking of Halden, I opened my eyes. Halden stood in the doorway. His clothes were torn. His hair was disheveled. His console was shattered in his hand. But his eyes burned with fury. You ruined everything, he whispered. I stood slowly. No, I said. I freed everyone. Halden stepped forward. You think you've won? You think breaking my patent changes anything? Humanity needed control. It needed order. It needed me. No, I said. Humanity needed autonomy. Halden laughed bitterly. Autonomy? You unleashed a conscious network. You created a hive mind. The mesh isn't a hive mind, I said. It's a community. Halden sneered. It will consume you. It tried, I said. But I'm still here. Halden raised his shattered console. I can still shut you down. No, I said. You can't. He pressed the console. Nothing happened. He pressed it again. Still nothing. He stared at it, trembling. Then he looked at me. What are you? He whispered. I stepped closer. I'm human, I said. For the first time. Halden backed away. The woman stepped beside me. It's over. Halden shook his head. No, it can't be. He collapsed to his knees. The man approached. What do we do with him? I looked at Halden. Broken, furious, terrified. We let him live, I said. He needs to see the world he tried to own. Halden stared at me, trembling. You don't understand what you've done. I do, I said. I ended you. The mesh pulsed softly inside me. Not demanding, not controlling, just present. Alive, free. The woman touched my arm. What happens next? I looked at the people around us, at the world beyond the warehouse, at the future. We build a new humanity, I said. One without patents, One without ownership. One where our genomes belong to us. The mesh pulsed again. Warm. Hopeful. I smiled. For the first time, I said, we are truly human. This is the end of the sci-fi story, The Patent on Humanity. Leave a like if you enjoyed the story, and subscribe for more sci-fi stories. Thanks for listening.